Hi, this is Russ Katz from the Vinyl Revivers, and I'm happy to be here with Jodi Essex to discuss her brand new debut faith based rock album called Irreverent. Thank you very much for being here. First question. Do you play an instrument or is your voice your instrument?
Oh, good question. My voice is my instrument, of course. It's my first instrument. I do play guitar and piano, and I use those instruments primarily to write with. It's been a while since I've done music altogether, let alone play on stage. So um, time will tell on that front. But yes, I do use these instruments for purposes of writing.
Great. What or who inspired you to start playing music or to start singing?
When I was younger, my family's pretty musical on both sides. My mom and dad. My mom played the piano. My dad actually managed a couple of bands, and he used to invite me down to listen to some of the bands rehearse. And so I kind of got a little spark from watching them. But I mainly I grew up in church, and I was their Sunday soloist, and then I also helped out on the worship team. So I kind of had just the flow of music going on all around me, and I was inspired by all of it. And then I continued to write as a youth and had my first recording experience back in high school, and just got bit by the bug and continued on from there.
What's the first song that you learned how to play or sing?
The first song that I learned to sing, actually, I learned it when I was about four. I was listening to, my parents had Debbie Boone, You Light Up My Life playing in the background. So I learned that from a very young age, and I used to take the candlestick out of our living room and stand up on the fireplace hearth and belt out You Light Up My Life. So honestly, that was the first full song that I learned. And then, grew from there and listened to my dad's influence, which he loved the Beatles and the rock and all the stuff from the 70s. And then my mom, she listened to more Christian contemporary artists. And I had an older brother and sister that listened to bands like Petra and Striper and Kim Boyce and artists like that. So,
Thanks. What is your proudest moment as a musician?
oh my goodness, that's impossible. I don't even know if it's happened yet. Um, I'm always proud when I finish a body of work, an album, because a lot goes into creating an album and writing and collaborating. And I'm always proud of that, but I'm also proud of being on stage and performing live for people, especially when I see how energized they get and you see them singing your words. In today's culture, we're just run by social media. So it's awesome when people learn your songs and then they post themselves playing on social media. So that's a really proud moment too in this day and age, in this culture. And yeah, there's so many moments.
Who do you listen to and why?
I listen to, wide array of artists, anything from jazz to rock to gospel to pop. I think there are great artists to be found in every genre, and but I definitely am most influenced by rock artists. And most of my playlists revolve around. I'm kind of extreme. They either revolve around rock artists, or then I listen to really ambient music, really kind of chill music if I want to be focused and I'm working on something, like the artist Burwell.
Great. What's your favorite all-time album?
My all-time favorite album is probably Abbey Road by the Beatles, and that has a little bit of a unique thing to me, and that is because I was in London at one point, and I recorded some material at Abbey Road Studio, and it's just kind of all wrapped up into the nostalgia of being in the studio where the Beatles recorded and looking at the upright that they played on and walking the same stairs down to the live room. So I have to say, yeah, that's definitely my favorite album. My dad kind of got me into that when I was little.
Well, that's my favorite Beatles album as well. That's very interesting. What kind of audio system do you currently use to listen to music?
Oh, well, thank God for Bluetooth. I've got just Bluetooth speakers all over the house, so I can just walk around with my phone and turn on, any of the Bluetooth speakers. I'm not listening to using any particular system. I do have a studio where I rehearse, and so I've got some JBLs in here, monitors, and some other Bluetooth speakers and NS10s that I can listen to material on, especially if I'm listening to mixes and that kind of thing. But in terms of everyday overall listening, I'll just pick a Bluetooth speaker or, pick it up and bring it with me. So.
Very interesting. We're going to have to work on that. I'd like to get you set up with a real system so you're not just listening to Bluetooth speakers. So when it comes to music, do you prefer the sound of analog, vinyl, for instance, or do you prefer the sound of digital, like CDs?
Oh, analog all the way. I mean, there are some definite pluses to digital, the ease of it, the seamlessness of it, but I'm old school at heart. I love analog. I love vinyl. I had an opportunity when I was really young to record on 2-inch tape. If you remember the progress, there was like 2-inch tape, then there was ADAT, DAT, the little DAT tapes, and then digital. Digital became the next biggest thing, but I love the warmth of analog, and I still think back recording on that 2-inch tape, it was the greatest sound. It was just so voluminous and it was so warm, and yeah, I miss it.
I'm with you on that. I love the sound of vinyl, although I do embrace the digital formats as well. And most of the demonstrations I do nowadays are, from streaming services. But there is something about vinyl, just the warmth that it gives is extremely listenable. So, what do you do outside of music that contributes to your musicality or that rejuvenates your creativity?
I exercise a lot. I love endurance sports, and I think, as an artist, you need that stamina, whether it's marathon long writing sessions or you're performing on stage. Performing on stage, especially if it's rock music, can take a lot out of you. I mean, you're moving constantly. You're working the entire stage. You're jumping up and down, and you're just driven by the drums and the bass line and just the energy behind rock. And as you probably know, there's nothing like an amazing live rock show. So I think keeping up my cardiovascular health and eating a good, clean diet, all of that contributes to what goes on behind the scenes in terms of writing music and being able to perform it.
Great. What's your ultimate goal in the music industry?
My ultimate goal, it's been done. I felt led to do this album after kind of hanging up my microphone for many years. And, I feel proud of the fact that I finished this album, that I'm marketing it, putting it out. I'm working with a great marketing team and a great publicist. And, my goal is to just get it out, whether it's 10 people, 10,000 people, 10 million people, it doesn't matter. I did what I set out to do, which was record this rock album, this faith-based rock album. And, whatever's going to happen to it, whatever God's going to do with it, he's going to do with it. So my goal is just to get it out to as many people as I can. And to, it's not about gaining followers and listeners. I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on the people that are downloading it, streaming it, listening to it, having it be significant to them, having them be inspired by it. So that's really where my drive is this time around.
Great. What challenges have you faced that have prevented you from reaching this goal?
Actually, you know what? I haven't met any challenges quite yet. It's interesting because we're all going through this COVID thing that started back in March, and there was a big debate amongst my team whether we should keep releasing music. And my gut feeling was that, yeah, we need to keep releasing music. People are still listening to music. It's the one thing that unites us all. It's the one thing that motivates us, that brings us to a specific point in time. Music will never go away. It moves everybody. And I just felt really led to continue releasing music through this pandemic and through, the challenges that our entire world is facing. And yeah, stuck with the plan, didn't change anything, and just keep at it.
Great. Well, what are you currently working on?
Right now, I'm working on getting ready for a show. My record, here it is. In vinyl, no less. It arrived a couple days ago. It was a little late just because of the manufacturing plant running behind due to COVID, but I was grateful that they were able to get it pressed. I got the test pressings a week ago, actually, and then I received the vinyl just a couple days ago. And so the record release is Friday, June 26th, and that could be, next Friday. And just getting ready for the live show to commemorate and celebrate the release of the album. I'm doing a live show with a full band on stage. And interesting enough, I'm playing to an empty venue for obvious reasons, but I look forward to hitting the stage. And that's kind of what I've been focusing on, just rehearsal and, fielding interviews, engaging with my listeners on social media, and just getting ready for the show.
Thanks. How do you go about writing a song? Can you take us through your creative process?
The creative process, I think it always changes. I mean, I think there are a few key things that I do. A song can come about with a lyric idea I have, or I could be just walking around and a little melody. I start humming a melody, and then pretty soon I realize I'm repeatedly humming that same melody, and that it evolves into a song. There also was a situation where I sit down with another writer or a team, and we're working on a collaboration. And then we kind of just, toss out our ideas, and we kind of work each idea to see kind of where it ends up. And one of the things I do when I'm writing is I always kind of fast forward and I imagine it being performed live. That's kind of a big detail that I always factor in. I imagine it being sung and played live, whether it's a ballad or just a heavy guitar-driven, riffy rock tune. So yeah, my process, there is no, hard, fast rules to it. It's just kind of, it's different each time around for every song.
Thanks. Is the band that you recorded this album with your touring band, or are they studio musicians that were selected just to record this album?
So the band that recorded the album, they are studio musicians, an incredibly talented bunch of guys. And the show that I'm doing Friday for the record release actually is another new set of studio musicians, and they're equally as talented. So as of right now, I'm a solo artist. I used to have a couple of bands, and then I just decided to kind of, go this way, go solo, and hire studio musicians to play live, get the album recorded.
Thanks. Knowing that this is your debut album, what are your plans for touring?
Wow, well, it's challenging right now, again, because of COVID. So I think, I'm in the same pit that every other musician is, and that we're going to have to postpone our touring to 2021, which is unfortunate because, again, I still think, more than anything right now, people love music, and, people love going to shows and just kind of, zoning out and kind of losing their mind for an hour and a half or a couple hours listening to their favorite artist play. But yeah, we'll have to see. I think I definitely would plan to tour, but again, that's going to be 2021. So until then, I'm just going to continue to write, engage with my listeners, and we'll see if there's album number 2.
Well, I wish you much success when your tour finally starts taking place. You have a favorite type of venue that you like to perform in?
Yes. I love all kinds of venues, but honestly, my most favorite type of venue to perform in is an intimate venue, just a few thousand seats maybe. I love the old theaters, like I love the Warfield in San Francisco. I love the Paramount Theater. I love the intimate venues with the cool architectural vibes, the velvet drapes, really cool ceilings, really cool molding and paneling. And I love the closeness of the audience. I love to feel their energy as well. I mean, artists feed off of that when they're performing live. So I like to feel that we're just kind of in a gigantic living room together, sharing in the music.
So how has the coronavirus affected you directly?
They call me an outgoing introvert because really, I do kind of have moments of gregariousness in my personality, but I'm just as happy being home, popping some popcorn and sitting on the couch, watching a movie, drinking a glass of wine, sitting by the fire. I love to read. So in terms of affecting me personally, I kind of had a little head start on that because from that perspective, my life didn't change that much because I do love to be home so much. And I exercise at home as well. I am a cyclist, so I can just leave from my house and hop on any one of my bikes and ride. But COVID, I wasn't sick. No one in my family was sick, thank God. But from a perspective of just, day-to-day routine, it honestly didn't change that much.
So have you written any songs about the coronavirus?
I haven't. Not to say that I won't, especially, once we kind of see where we end up and how much longer the mandates are going to be extended out. But that's very much a possibility.
So who's been your favorite artist to work with?
Favorite artist to work with? That's a tough question. Tough question. I don't know. I've enjoyed everybody that I've worked with, that I've collaborated with. There are definitely some artists that I would love to work with in the future. But yeah, I don't really have a definitive answer for that. I've enjoyed everybody that, I've had the pleasure to work with and learn from.
Okay, so if you had to do one thing differently in your career, what would it be?
One thing differently, I don't know that I would do anything differently. I probably would have done this faith-based rock album sooner. I was so stubborn and just kind of resistant to the idea of it, and kept kind of going my own way and doing things my way. But yeah, I think really the only thing I would do is I would have done this album sooner, because as you may have known, I was into secular rock bands that I had formed, and if you've been in a band, it is so difficult keeping a band together for so many reasons. There are schedule conflicts, there are other personal interests. There's just getting together for rehearsal. There's just disagreements. There's creatively, there could be a lot of obstacles in that way as well. So, yeah, the bands ended up breaking up over two separate times. And, my focus just wasn't in the right place. My heart wasn't in the right place. And I feel like now I have definitely have more life to write about. My focus is different. My heart's in a different place. And, I'm just going back to my roots and feeling really good about delivering a faith-based rock album.
Okay, so Jodi, I read that you've also done some acting. Are you still interested in pursuing an acting career, or are you totally focused just on your music career?
Well, music is, it's what I'm most passionate about. And I'm always open to opportunities and things that are presented, but right now my focus is 100% music. I mean, I have no time for anything else right now. Like I was saying earlier, even though, we were all experiencing the effects of COVID, it's just been nonstop with my music project. I've had a lot of just interviews and write-ups, and with the album release right around the corner, and engaging in the fans, because I really think that is so important. So, the first few hours of my morning, I just sit on my computer responding back to comments on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, and just establishing rapport with everybody, and letting them just kind of get a glimpse into who I am as a person and artist. And that's all I've had time for so far.
Great. Where can people find your album to purchase or to listen to?
So my album is available for download on all the streaming platforms that are out there. However, on my website, there will be a link to purchase the vinyl. And there will also be a link to purchase CD for people who are still collecting CDs or listening to CDs in their cars or at home. So both of those mediums will be available on my website. But in terms of the album, you can download it on Apple, you can find it on Spotify, Pandora, you'll be able to find it on all your typical platforms.
Okay, so here's your last question. How can your fans communicate with you, and what social media platforms are you currently on?
Oh, all of them. Well, not all of them. I still haven't, I haven't experimented with TikTok yet, but you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter, and I have a YouTube channel, which you should go, because I have some really great music videos up there from the singles that I have released previously this year. And and you can reach me through any of those platforms. I do return messages. Right now, because I can, it's still manageable, but it's starting to get unmanageable. But I can be reached on any of those platforms, and I'd be happy to hear from any of you.
So Jodi, do you have any last words for the listeners?
I want to thank you guys for allowing me the opportunity to do this interview. I appreciate it. I love that you guys are, advocates for vinyl, and you guys are pushing the vinyl revolution. I think, like anything that's cyclical, it's coming back, like, bell bottoms, like rock music, which I feel like rock never left. And I feel like guitar is not dead, rock is not dead. You know, it just kind of was overshadowed by a couple of the other genres. But yeah, I want to say thank you for listening and streaming and purchasing my music. And I also want to remind you guys that on Friday, you can watch me and my band perform live at 8 p.m. Central. And you'll be able to stream the premiere on either YouTube or Facebook. So it's a good idea to kind of join up on either one of those platforms to follow so that you can get all the details on the show. But Friday, June 26th, 8 p.m. Central, catch us live. Thank you again. Bye.
Okay, thanks again, Jodi, for all your time. Really appreciate it. Again, if fans, if you want to check Jodi out, she'll be performing live this Friday at 8 p.m. on both YouTube and on Facebook, so sign up. I'll be posting this review on my YouTube channel, as well as on my Facebook page and my website, thevinylrevivers.com. I appreciate any comments. You can send your feedback to Russ at thevinylrevivers.com, and look forward to my next video. Thanks.
Inside a gentle soul, V12 unbridled, with a quiet strength, iron sharpens metal. Stormy blue skies, gift from Jesus saved my life. Listen to the symphony